This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Now let me just tell you this much, okay? Renegade Games kills it, okay? They have put out some of the best games I've played all year, and my father's work, a masterpiece. Just anything that they touch is great. And as a matter of fact, there's a couple more games that they put out that I need to get my hands on. Power Rangers was a game that I think was very underrated, but very, very good and very solid. So what if you took all those rules from Power Rangers, which gives away the title of the thing, and put them into a setting with G.I. Joe? Well, you get G.I. Joe Mission Critical. Boy, oh boy, is this exciting when you can play miniatures with a G.I. Joe game. Is it good? Of course it is, but let's go down to the table. I'm not going to tell you all the rules. I'm going to go over a little bit. If you played Power Rangers, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. But let's go check this out. I'll give you a quick overview. We'll come back up, and then we'll give you my final thoughts, and we'll get on. Now, I'm not going to explain everything, but I'm going to go over a few things to let you know how this works. You're going to be playing one of these really cool characters. Of course, who doesn't want to play Snake Eyes? I mean, really? Come on. Probably one of the coolest characters of all time. What you're going to do is, these are actually vehicle cards, which you're going to have a chance to operate later. But you're going to play as one of this, and then you're going to have 10 cards here that you're going to start off with in your deck. Okay? And each card is going to be able to do an attack value, but also has shields on here, which is going to absorb certain things. But you could lose these cards. If you ever run out of your deck, or you can't draw any cards, and there are no energy tokens left when you go back to headquarters, well, guess what? You're going to lose the game. Another way that you can lose a game is that if ever every single one of these areas are panicked and you cannot unpanic them on your next turn, well, guess what? The game ends and you lose because they have taken over, Cobra has taken over the world. Very, very simple. What you're going to do is you are randomly going to shake up and not hide, and you're going to put out these particular cards here. And then on Cobra's turn, what's going to happen is that these cards are going to be mixed up. There's going to be some lieutenants and nemesis, and of course the big boss, which are going to be mixed up within here. And when you turn over a card, that many enemies are going to go on what is the next card. So when you turn this over, we're going to have 2 Cobra, and they are going to go where the tank value is. That means that the Cobra Temple is now has 2 players. Now, if you notice over here, there is a 5. If ever you have more, you have 5 on here, and you try to place another one on here, well, guess what? That becomes panicked. Okay, if ever you have one of the lieutenants, or you draw one of the lieutenant or leader cards or nemesis cards, that then becomes, and you place it depending on where the next spot is. Again, it would go over there. Well, that would become panicked. Okay, on your turn, you're going to get a couple of markers, and what you're going to do is you're going to have certain actions. You're going to be able to move, okay, which means you can move to any area. Okay, I would move here, and I would want to attack. The next action I would want to do is attack. And on an attack, you're going to play cards from your hand, and they are going to give you certain abilities, like you're going to roll 2 dice. And these dice here are going to have hits on them, and depending on what hits those guys have, now particular here, we have 2 Cobra Crimson Guards. We would turn over 2 of these cards, and they would have, that's what their health would be. The other thing is there is a word on here that says fast. If there was another type of card here, for instance, for these 2, let's just say, and The fast was the second card that we drew. The fast always goes first, which means they would go before Joe would go, and they would do 2 damage. Now, because they would deal 2 damage to our Joe, he would turn over a card. He would play turn over a card, and as you can see, it is equal to. So this would go into a discard pile. Okay, meaning that we did not take any damage. Actually, it would go back into the bottom of your deck. But if we were to draw something with just 1, we would have to keep that would go into the discard pile, and then we would have to keep on drawing until we got enough, which either tied or exceed that value, and be able to negotiate the damage. As you lose cards, though, you have to be very careful, because if you don't have any cards in your hands or anything that you can draw from your draw deck, well, you are going to lose, or you are going to be defeated, and you're going to have to come back, and you're going to have to recharge yourself. Okay. The other thing that you can do is go back to base and recharge. What that means is that you can take the cards from your discard pile, put them in and shuffle them up with your deck, and basically you're at full health again, and then you can begin again. But you have to negotiate, and you have to be very smart in what you do and be very calculated in doing things, because this can be overwhelmed very, very quickly, and they do bite back because they have different abilities. And then when you run into lieutenants, well, that's a whole different story, because they have their own deck. And in order to beat a lieutenant, for instance, if we were able to draw the Copperhead card, which is right here, we would have to turn over 4 cards and have to defeat them all to defeat that particular lieutenant. The object is to, of course, get to the boss and beat the main boss, which is Cobra Commander. But you don't just face 4 cards of him, you face 6 cards of him, and you don't know which 6 out of the 7 that you are going to face, and they can be very difficult to beat. If you are able to survive and beat the Cobra Commander, well, guess what? The Joes win, and glory and freedom reigns. But if you do not, guess what? And every place becomes panicked, or you do not have a recharge token to use when you lose your life, well, guess what? That's going to be it for our Joes. A very fun game. If you played Power Rangers, you'll know this game very, very easily. Now, if you remember, in the Power Rangers, if you played it before, they had a board where you would power up and you would start using some of the Megazoids. Well, they have something a little bit different here, because as you fill this up and it completely fills up, you are going to be able to use one of these cards, which are vehicle cards, which kind of represents the Megazoids in a way. And you're going to be able to, for that particular person is going to be able to use that card, and it's going to give you an advantage. So knocking as many guys off as you possibly can is really kind of a good thing, because then what that's going to do is you're going to be able to use some of these vehicle cards, which are really great. There's a couple expansions out for it, the Vehicle Pack 1 and the Heavy Powered expansion, which you're definitely going to want to check out. Again, another fantastic game by Renegade. I didn't explain all the rules, but I think you get the gist of it, and definitely be around for our live playthrough when we play this, and you can see how great this is and how much fun this is. Kept in a nice condensed area, done very, very well. This, I'm looking forward to even more expansions coming out, because if you love G.I. Joe, then you're going to love everything that they have planned for you for sure. All right, let's head on top and get my final thoughts on this masterpiece, and let's get on out of here. Now, first off, the miniatures are perfect. I mean, who doesn't want to paint up Snake Eyes and run through and start taking out some of Cobra Command? Just really, really another solid game by our friends at Renegade, who do not miss. The one thing I can always tell you about this company, it is top of the line, awesome, and they don't miss. I'm going to be painting this over the holiday break. We'll do it live here on the channel, and along with a couple of the other things that I'm painting, and you know, my arm's starting to come back a little bit, so look out. We're going to be doing our painting videos, but the most important thing I'm looking forward to is a live playthrough of this game, and showing you how great this is. Now again, if you know Power Rangers, if you played the Power Ranger game, which is just absolutely great in its own right, this game just really stands out. Okay, it's very strategic. It has just a lot of things that just go right with it and does a lot of things right, and it's just plain fun. It's something that you know, you can keep in a nice small area and play with a couple people, or you can play it by yourself and just have a fantastic time. I'm telling you, there's no lose with this game. And with the heavy firepower expansion and the vehicle expansion that they had come out, make sure you get all of them, because they all just add just even more to what is already a great game. I'm telling you right now, go out, get your hands on this. You are not going to be disappointed. G.I. Joe Mission Critical. Again, if you played Power Rangers, you're going to understand this very, very quickly. A couple little nuances that are changed, but overall, a great, fantastic experience that you're going to absolutely love, with beautiful miniatures and just that main word that counts: fun. Because that's what games are all about. Fun, folks. And Renegade knows how to create fun. Until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon.